full story of Titanic construction. The story of building the Titanic begins in 1907 when the British company White Star Line decided to create the world's largest and most luxurious ships. Their dream was to dominate ocean travel with three massive vessels: the Olympic, the Titanic, and the Britannic. Among them, the Titanic was planned to be the crown jewel. To turn this dream into reality, they partnered with Harland and Wolff, one of the world's biggest shipyards located in Belfast, Northern Ireland. Thousands of workers, engineers, designers, and laborers were about to begin a project that would become legendary. On March 31st, 1909, construction of the Titanic officially began. The shipyard roared with the sounds of machinery, hammers, and steam as workers laid down the enormous steel frame of what would become the largest man-made moving object of its time. The Titanic was a monster of metal, 882 feet long, as tall as a 17-story building, and built using around 26,000 tons of steel. More than 3 million rivets were hammered in by hand to hold the giant ship together. Over 15,000 workers were involved in building the Titanic. Their work was incredibly difficult and dangerous. Every day they lifted heavy metal plates, climbed towering scaffolds, and worked long hours in harsh weather. Many workers were injured and several even lost their lives during construction. But despite the hardships, the workers were proud. They were building something the world had never seen before. After 2 years of intense construction, the giant hull of the Titanic was finally ready. On May 31st, 1911, thousands of people gathered at the shipyard to watch the historic moment when Titanic first touched the water. The crowd cheered as the massive steel structure slid down into the River Lagan. But this was only the beginning. Now came the long and detailed work of building the interior, the part that would truly make Titanic famous. Inside, the Titanic was designed like a floating palace. Workers spent another year installing luxurious wooden staircases, elegant dining halls, shining chandeliers, expensive carpets, and beautifully decorated rooms. The famous grand staircase, the swimming pool, the gymnasium, the Turkish bath, and the first-class cabins were all created with extraordinary detail. Titanic was not just a ship. It was a masterpiece of art and engineering. Titanic's design also included advanced safety systems for that time. It had 16 watertight compartments meant to keep the ship afloat even if several were damaged. Because of this, newspapers boldly called Titanic the Unsinkable ship. People believed nothing could destroy it. Finally, in early 1912, Titanic was completed. After finishing its sea trials and safety checks, the ship was ready for its first journey across the Atlantic Ocean. On April 10, 1912, the Titanic set sail from Southampton, England, heading toward New York City. It was a proud moment. The world admired this ship, and people believed they were traveling on the safest vessel ever built. But just 4 days into the journey, on the icy night of April 14, 1912, tragedy struck. Titanic hit an iceberg in the North Atlantic. The collision tore open several compartments, and the unsinkable ship began taking in water. Within a few hours, the great ship broke apart and slipped beneath the freezing waves. More than 1,500 people lost their lives. Despite its tragic end, the construction of the Titanic remains one of the greatest engineering achievements in history. Its story is a reminder of human ambition, innovation, and the belief that we can build anything, even if nature sometimes has other plans.